Hello everyone, greetings. I am CA Meghnand Dungarwal, an advisory member from Shunyas and Amar Wealth Advisory. Today, I'm here to discuss a very special topic with all of you to take away key important lessons for your businesses, for your family, as well as non family owned businesses, plus your clients, where you are also supporting them in various different capacities. So, recently, first, I would like to share some of the examples of my previous conversations with few promoters and board members. Couple of weeks ago, I was in a board meeting with a family enterprise wherein the promoter and the son of the promoter, along with few other directors in the company, were present. We were discussing on couple of important business topics, and one of the topic was succession. What is ahead in the business and who will take care of the business post promoters planned exit in next 5 years. So one of the important topics was about the preparedness, and I was listening very attentively to whole conversation, and to my surprise, the son who was already in the business for last couple of years was not willing to continue the business in his full time capacity. At the same time, there were no other prepared next gen leaders who can take care of the business post promoters exit in next 3 to 5 years. And that led to the conversation getting into a very difficult tone about the business's continuity, the reputation of the business in the market, and at the same time, and the most important, how the promoter is going to monetize his last 25 to 30 years in the business. That led me to an important trail of memories of last 2 years, wherein I had a couple of opportunities to serve, help other enterprises, family as well as non-family owned, in terms of their future business plans. And the core topic always was with respect to the succession of the business, either in a direct conversation or as an indirect conversation. So all these conversations and experiences led me to really think the importance, the depth, and the magnitude of impact this topic is going to have in the context of business world. And therefore, the topic of today is of utmost importance for all of us, which is business succession, legacy, and ultimately monetization of the wealth which is parked in the business by the promoter with long years of efforts and focus. So that's where we are today. Let us discuss this important topic, legacy and liquidity, turning your business into a high value exitable asset. Let me very quickly summarize about myself. I'm CA Meghnand Dungarwal, a CPA as well as a certified executive coach, working in the industry for more than 20 years, first 15 years being in the finance world core, working with Ernst& Young, KPMG and NextDime, and last 6 years working as a certified executive coach, helping many business owners, promoters, senior leaders as well as next gen leaders across industry and across spectrum. I am also an invited speaker on various industry platforms and an author on a very interesting book called Simple Path to Freedom and Success. Let me take ahead in this journey by sharing a very important factor that whatever we are discussing today is absolutely based on extensive research and plus hands-on experiences across various industries and various nature of businesses. So rest assured that you will have very concrete takeaways from today's conversation. So first question for all of us as business leaders, CXOs and promoters, have you ever analyzed and assessed where is your real wealth parked? Have you assessed that whatever investments you have made in your experiences and your journey in the career, 80% of your wealth is actually parked in the business in which you are operating right now. And that's the magnitude of potential one can really understand while understanding the topic of succession and exit. It is a direct impact topic for business leaders and promoters, and that's why useful to understand the strategies here. First, let's address why. You will observe most of the promoters and business leaders, they consider the business is only going to grow and grow year by year. They feel that we are already doing best and there is no need to worry as far as business growth is concerned. Many of them feel themselves immortal, that what is the problem? I am running the business now and the business will continue as it is. However, the reality is very different than the perception. Most of the business research points out that there are business cycles and there are business ceilings. So, unless a promoter and leader plan the exit well on time, they risk high time erosion of enterprise value over the years. And that's why studies actually indicate that almost 80 plus percentage of the business owners are struggling with having a formal exit strategy, whereas almost 75% of them say that I would love to retire in next 10 years. So there is a desire to retire, but there is no plan in place at all. That's the magnitude of this problem. So therefore, the question is not whether succession is necessary or not. The question is actually it is when, not if. Therefore, let's start actually considering building your succession ready, exitable wealth and asset that is your business. So, there are few first principles that we would like to discuss before we get into the actual execution roadmap here. So, there are few first principles I would like to discuss with all of you. First of all, if you talk about asset, there has to be valuation. And in terms of valuation, we have five core parameters to give maximum valuation to any business. And that I'm sharing with you right now. These are the five parameters any investor, either institutional or individual, would love to see in a business before putting their money into it. Number one, financial health, how profitable you are, what are the different ratios look like, what are different metrics as far as financials are concerned. Number two, operational robustness, how well and robustly you are managed without you, how independently the business can run without the key people in the business, how well the systems in the business can be scaled along with the scale of its business. All these components are super critical when you talk about operational excellence. Number three aspect for any business and its valuation is what is the nature of management and culture the business is running with right now. Whether there are very clearly defined roles and responsibilities, clearly defined growth path, clearly allocated responsibilities, whether the culture is unbiased, neutral, and independent, whether the culture is based on the merits and talent, whether the culture promotes new age thinking, promotes innovation, promotes out of the box approach or not. All important factors are with respect to people and culture are considered in the valuation side of things. Number fourth aspect is what kind of technology and intellectual property you have developed over the years in your business. Whether you have integrated technology in the core part of business or it is just considered as a support function. In today's age, technology and business cannot be separated. They are part and parcel of the same ecosystem. So, how well they are integrated in your business. And number two, whether you have intellectual property developed over the years which has special usefulness in the business and in the industry that commands premium valuation. The last important factor in this asset value wheel is what kind of market positioning you hold. Are you front runner in the market in your niche? Are you a big fish in a small market or a small fish in a big market? What is your clear identification in the market that commands and respect valuation? With all these parameters, ultimately, if five dimensions are taken care, we have seen companies achieving at least 2 to 3x higher valuation multiples when they evaluate their business at the time of exit. So there is a direct impact on the value and impact on the wealth of the promoters and leaders. Let me move further to give you some important hints about how a business is generally valued in the industry. So there are approximately three to four, maximum five parameters. One, what is your profitability? Especially in finance world, we call it as EBITDA. What is your operating profit? What is your earning capacity from your operations, core operations? And what is the consistency over the years in terms of your operating profitability? Number two important aspect is what does your revenue mix look like? How much is recurring? How much is one time? Whether the recurring revenue is increasing year by year or not. Whether revenues are fluctuating every single year because of the non-recurring nature. What is the status there? Who are your long loyal customers? That revenue model plays a very important role in valuation. Number three, do you solve a specific need which is very unique but not scalable, or you solve a need which is going to increase year by year as you move forward? So that gives the confidence to the investor and to the successor that my business is going to get scaled because we are solving a very scalable need of tomorrow. Number four, as we discussed, how much integrated your business is with respect to technology. That gives a very important hint to an investor or a successor that we are prepared for tomorrow. We are prepared for future. And number five, dependency. That is how much dependent your business is on special management. Whether management is only comprising of one to two few individuals, or there are a larger breadth of experts available in your business. So that dependence on very few people is a very alarming factor for a business to really create a premium valuation. So just to give you some hint, a business with good amount of recurring revenue command 2 to 4x higher valuation vis-a-vis a business which only depends upon one of transactions. That's the importance of having a good revenue model. Now, on the side of management, as we discussed, if the business is only dependent on you and a very few of you, it is an alarming sign, which means a business cannot scale beyond those few people or the capacities of those few people. And it actually is an alarming sign from valuation standpoint. So, in crux, if you talk about succession and exit, you are not, in essence, building a simple business. You need to build a well-oiled, scalable machine, which includes strong management team, a good pipeline of next generation leaders, a clear succession plan, and most importantly, a very well-running, robust, standard operating procedures, SOPs. All of this clubbed together build a business which can be considered as a machine, and that demands and commands premium valuation in the industry. To close the first section, which is first principles, what is needed in a succession or an exit is a clean house, a clean business which can command a clean deal. When I say clean business, it means a clear vision for the business for next 5, 10, 15 years, where the business is moving, what problems it is going to solve, and whether the problem will really be relevant of tomorrow. Number one. Number two, whether the design of the business is really well structured, whether it is structured as far as tax efficiency is concerned, legal efficiency is concerned. The design makes all the difference. Number three, whether the business has protected relevant IPs and patents which it has developed over the years, such as any unique inventions, any unique process, any unique brand name, any unique intangible that they have developed over the years, whether they have legally protected it or not. And the last is whether everything which a business does on a continuous basis is documented or not. Because if it is documented, it is followed. If it is not documented, it is not followed. That is the simple management principle, whether the business really commands that clean house positioning or not. So, if your business is really there in terms of a clean business, then we need to talk about whether you have a good, perfect successor available or not. So, there can be two kinds of successor in a business. One, internal successors, which means either your family members who have recently joined you or who are about to join, or key employees who has great amount of experiences in your business or similar businesses and now wanting to take this business to the next level, or a combination of both, family members, here's, or key employees, a combination of both running the business for tomorrow, whether you have those kind of internal successors potentially available or not. And number two possible successors are external, which means either few strategic buyers or financial buyers like venture capital funds, private equity players. Nowadays, we are talking about search funds, which is an entrepreneur driven funds. So, whether to have internal successor or an external successor is a choice that you have. But for that, you need to really understand intergenerational expectations of the people in your business. That becomes the base to decide whether my company should have an internal successor or look out for an external successor. So, as a last self assessment before we get into the execution roadmap for succession, this is a very first cut assessment you should actually go through or help your clients who are enterprises. You should help them to go through this particular assessment, which is a very simple matrix. If you observe on the screen, there are personal control factors and there are systemic control factors. Personal control is all about founder or few select individual driven, and systemic control is all about process driven. Then you see if you fall into small scale category, either startups or early stage, whether do you fit in right now? In the quadrant of personal control or systemic control? If you are still in personal control bracket, it is high time you need to first move on towards systemic control, which means start building process driven mechanism of monitoring the business. If you're already a large scale and still personal control is the founding principle, it is again high time that you consider building in robust processes and implementing at scale as early as possible. So the whole approach is to move from personal control to systemic control. The secret of successful succession and exit lies in moving from personal control to systemic control. So, with this first assessment, now let me actually get into a detailed roadmap in a very summarized and simple format for you to take some key actionable and takeaways from here. Number one, if you are going to plan an exit and succession over next 3 to 5 years, my first advice is make it very gradual. Don't hurry, don't rush. The more gradual it is, the more successful it will. So, with that approach of systematicness, let us go through year by year plan for you to really evaluate, assess, and then proceed. So, year 0 to 1, which means from now over next 1 year, what should be your execution roadmap? So, if you observe, there is a pictorial graphic presentation here. A promoter is driver of the business. He is sitting on the driver's seat. That's the nature of approach needed in year 1, which means you are taking few important assessments of the business, and before assessing your own business, assess your vision post succession or exit. So most of the succession and exit fail because the founder and promoter does not have clarity. What am I going to achieve or get post exit or post succession? What is my life vision personally post exit? The more clearer you are about your own vision, the better you will plan for succession. And this is a very highly ignored area in many of my experiences working with promoters. They don't have clarity enough about their own personal path post exit and succession. So, the first recommendation is define your own personal vision as a promoter post succession and exit. Number two, in year 1, now that you are planning for succession, your role is to simply assess the as is situation. What is right now the culture of my organization? Listen, metaphorically, go to every single station in your business. Have a lot of conversations with people from ground level to senior level and understand what is the preparedness in the business right now, what kind of culture my people are actually following to look at the business, to operate with the business, to serve the customers, what kind of financial prudence my business is right now running with. All these different parameters you need to first assess by listening in your business. Number three important factor in assessing the preparedness is who are taking the shots in my business, which means who are taking the key decisions. If you observe all the decisions taken in a business, what is the percentage? How many decisions are taken by either you or highly dependent on you? If the ratio of decision making at your level is above 50%, yet it means you need to do a lot of work, first of all, with respect to decision making in the business. So, what is the ratio? Assess. And most importantly, now that you are preparing for succession, start having few hard conversations in the business with your potential successors, potential next gen leaders. Have those conversations that what are their plans for future, how are they looking at their career of tomorrow, how have they looked at the business over the years, how do they see future of your business of tomorrow, have those candid, transparent, hard conversations in this first year. See, all these preparations we are doing simply to help you assess the as is situations, which is the foundation, fundamental, most important thing for preparing for tomorrow's succession and exit. So, year one is simply an assessment year, hard, real, candid, transparent assessment of your own business by yourself. At this stage, if you want to have an external help, hire an advisor to help you assess the as is situation, help you assess the readiness for succession. Year one in the driver's seat. Year two, now you, from the driver's seat, you are sitting in the side seat in the front row. I hope you understand what change you are going to make. This is actually year two is an intense activity year. This is where you are going to make a lot of radical improvement in the year. With a solid foundation of first year where you have assessed a lot of strengths and gaps, you have assessed the readiness of people, you have assessed the decision making metrics, you have assessed the culture. Now you are ready to really drive a lot of improvements by being in the side seat, which means now, first and foremost, you will invite all the potential successors, internal successors especially, either your family members and key employees, to help now build a shared vision for the business. Till this time, you were seeing the future of the business and they were executing. Now, the time is to spread this visioning and become a shared visionary along with your team members now. That is the time to start building vision beyond yourself. Once you have a good vision now, which is shared by the key people involved in the business, this is the time to actually now allocating hats to different next gen leaders of the business. First, you can try some cross rotations within the business so that your next gen team get good amount of exposure of different functions, departments, roles in the business so that they see the full picture in the business first of all. Then maybe you might involve some co-leadership initiatives, which means two leaders, next gen leaders, work together and they define few actions, few decisions on a joint accountability basis. It is to actually promote collaboration and accountability, joint accountability culture in the business before succession itself. And once you have invited few co-leadership projects, the next step is allocating few specialized focus areas. So for example, now you can allocate few key initiatives to few key individuals such as digitization, such as customer experience, such as culture development in the company, such as efficiency and profitability improvement in the company, such as brand development and growth of the company. These specialized areas you can allocate between the next gen leaders who are available in the business so that they get, first of all, an overall exposure and then very specialized exposure in 1 year. As you allocate the responsibilities, as you allocate the areas for their focus, it is also important that you give them some freedom within framework so that they can take decisions based on the processes that they have defined for the business. So this is the most intense work we need to do in your business, which is standardize processes as much as you can and then give freedom to your key people to operate within that standardized framework. This is delegation, effective delegation phase for the promoter and the leader. And the most important thing which comes after all these preparations is now start revamping the ownership and financial structure. What legal structure you follow as a business, who are the shareholders, what kind of rights they have, what kind of decision making rights, legal as well as operational, what is the structure of holding of the business, whether you have only bootstrapped capital or borrowed capital, external capital, what kind of structure you want to now see for tomorrow in the business. All this thinking and strategy and benchmarking should start in year two. Till now, you might have been operated in a very intuitive and promoter driven or select people driven decision making matrix. Now it is the time to actually introduce a concept called company board or a leadership council, which can act like an independent overseeing body to revalidate, to reframe, to refine the decisions that are going to be made in the business that will really help your future successors to stay on course in the business. So, all these preparations are nothing but absolute solid house building in the business. And therefore, year two would be very important as far as all improvements are concerned in the business. Then comes year three, if necessary, four, and if at all necessary, year five. In my experiences, I have seen if year one and year two has been really been used very constructively, a business can be really ready for succession or exit in year three. What is really needed in year three? Let us detail it out further. One, now that you know that the succession is clear, it is near, let me build some culture preserving assets. What does it mean? It means now seeing of tomorrow, if you are no more active, very active in the business, what kind of messages can still inspire your future generation of leaders as well as people employed in the business to carry the same culture as you have developed over the years. It might include, say, for example, some recorded stories, some customer feedback, some internal learnings which are recorded or documented for future references, some successes, some failures, some customer complaints, some employee feedback, exit feedback, in house feedback, some advisory insights that you have received over the years. This is the time to actually document them, record them, and collate them as culture preserving assets for tomorrow. It will go a long way. Now comes the time when you should now design and decide what would be exactly my role post succession or exit. Do I want to remain a chairman in the company to mentor my next generation team for, say, for example, 3 to 5 years? Or I want an immediate exit? Or I want to play an advisor role for the company, no more an active role at all? Or I want to still keep one department, for example, strategy, with me because I have a lot of interest in my business strategy. Whatever it may be, you need to take a very concrete call and immediately start playing out that role from year three onwards so that you are preparing from the backseat. This is now the time to actually focus on public relationships and brand equity building, which means now focus on how can you make your business visible in the public eye in your industry so that a potential investor of tomorrow or potential talent of tomorrow who can join your business and take it to the next level can actually see you, observe your moves, see what kind of activities you are doing as a business, what culture you follow, what strategies you have for future, etc. Let them be visible through some good PR and brand equity efforts. As you are doing all these efforts, it is also important now to Have some market pulse, capture it. For example, what kind of valuation my peers are getting in the industry, what is happening in India as well as internationally with respect to profit multiples, with respect to my industry, what could be my unique potential differentiators from valuation standpoint. These important financial and valuation aspects will start preparing your approach before you actually approach any potential investors, strategic or financial, or even have some strategic partners in the business. In fact, this valuation preparation, even if you have internal successors, either your family members or some key employees, will boost their confidence in the business. So that will go a long way. And now the last important aspect in your execution roadmap, succession execution roadmap is don't rush yet, because exit needs right timing. So while you have prepared for year 1, 2, and 3 relentlessly with focus, with a clear vision in your mind post your succession, a clear vision in your mind for your business, don't rush to take actual decision of succession or exit. Wait, observe, capture indicators either from financial market standpoint or from internal development standpoint. And when you are confident now that the market will honor my business, that's the right time to decide your exit. When you are confident that my internal successors are ready emotionally, mentally, as well as functionally to take the business now very confidently with or without you, at that moment, now you are ready to take that shot, that final decision to either formally retire from the business or monetize your stake in the business. So this is year 3, 4, 5. In essence, if you observe, the whole roadmap can be defined, summarized in 4 stages only. One, definition of your vision, delegation of your responsibilities, shadowing your next generational leadership team, and finally succession. Or you can also consider these 4 steps: assess, first of all, assess the preparedness for exit, then prepare, then optimize through right systems, processes, structures, strategies, and finally monetize. With this 4 stage approach, your chances of unlocking your wealth in the business improves multiplication wise. Your chances of continuity of your business, continuity of your reputation enhances in multiples. Your chances of keeping your next generation interested in the business enhances multifold. So today we have built a very solid foundation. I'm expecting you have taken away one, two, three key actionables with respect to your own respective business from this execution roadmap and first few principles of succession. Next, I encourage you, invite you to have a very full detailed succession and exit readiness assessment for your own business or the clients that you serve in various different capacities. And number two, if you find it worthwhile, have a strategic advisory group with you who can help you plan succession, help you exit on your own terms, and also help you execute your roadmap along the way, wherein you can count Shunya's and Amar Wealth team as your strategic partners. So, to leave you for today's conversation, this is our favorite philosophy, which is the future of an organization, a future of a firm is not actually defined and built by the hours worked in the business. It is built by the value created by the business and in the business. With this whole approach, I invite you to book a consultation if you feel it worthwhile. It is a no obligation consultation wherein we would simply love to help you assess your readiness for succession and help you identify the gap which you need to fill in over next 1 to 3 years in order to be ready for succession and a very profitable exit from the business. So using this scanner, you can book a slot for a no obligation, free of cost succession and exit readiness assessment consultation with us, wherein in 30 minutes we will have a very focused, targeted, candid conversation about your own specific business and your readiness for succession and exit. At the same time, to end our conversation of today, I would love you to assess what kind of inputs you have gathered from today's conversation, note them down, and capture them by using this particular feedback form. It will help you also to concretize your own learnings and key takeaways of today's conversation. So you can now scan this code and capture your thoughts in this particular form. With this, I'm thankful for you to watching this conversation of today. Our contact details are mentioned in the screen, our website, email, and contact number. We are based in Pune, India, serving clients across India and outside India. Our core specialization lie in working with CXOs, leaders, promoters, and founders in order to build their succession plan and help them achieve a very profitable exit if at all they want, or a very solid legacy beyond them while they are actively in business at this moment. So it is working today for a solid tomorrow. That is our core focus and specialization as business advisors. So, with this, I thank all of you for joining today and hope to remain in touch and helping you or your clients for an important area of succession and exit. Let's build your exitable asset strategically. Thank you very much.